Welcome into On Deck. Anytime someone that I've interviewed passes away, I always want to do a tribute for them in some form or fashion. And this past weekend, Braves alumni Adrian Devine passed away of cancer. He was 68. And just to remember his career for a second, Bobby Cox had 459 wins as a manager. The first of those wins, the winning pitcher, was Adrian Devine.
Wow. You were the winning pitcher for Bobby Cox's first win as a manager.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you to see him go into the Hall of Fame a few years ago?
Bobby, I mean, what can you say that haven't been said?
Yeah.
Bobby was just a fantastic manager. He cared about his players. He defended his players. If you had a problem and you went to Bobby, Bobby would sit down, listen, and do whatever he could to help you out. Great guy. I remember Bobby from AAA when he was coaching for the Yankees. And also in Venezuela. I played against one of his teams over in Venezuela. And he traded to get me. And I had just come off my best season ever. I was 11-6 and had 15 saves in Texas. And Bobby traded to get me. And I felt terrible that I had a really bad year, actually. I think I was 5-4 and 3 saves. But that first win was Bobby Cox's first win as a major league manager. So I was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah. Did you ever see him get ejected?
Oh, yeah. Who hadn't?
In 1974, Adrian was a rookie, but he was a witness to Hank Aaron's 1974 season. In that season, he hit his famous 715th home run to beat Babe Ruth's record for all-time home runs.
Well, Hank Aaron. Can you tell me just what it's like playing with him? I mean,
I was a rookie, and I kind of kept my distance because, I mean, here's a legend,
yeah.
And I'm just a little snot-nosed rookie. That guy was amazing. He was going through a lot,
Yeah.
you know, the hate mail and such, but my goodness, he would just walk off the bench at spring training, go up to the plate just nonchalant and just, you know, balls flying out of the ballpark like it was nothing. And he hit the fastest home run I've ever seen in San Diego. He hit a ball so hard, the third baseman, I don't think he was flinched. The left fielder kind of shrugged and the ball was out. I mean, it was gone. And he was a mild-spoken guy. Didn't say a whole lot as far as I was concerned.
But he didn't have to.
No, he didn't have to. You're right. He was just soft-spoken.
Yeah.
Very kind. I remember at spring training, my dad came to spring training. My dad was more of a baseball fanatic than I'll ever be. And I was walking into the hotel, and Hank was walking out, and he stopped and says hello to my dad. You know, that. I mean, my dad just spoke about that for years to come, and meant a lot to me.
He served on the same pitching staff as Hall of Famer Phil Niekro and even credited him with some advice while he was a rookie.
Another teammate of yours, Phil Niekro, in the Hall of Fame, knuckleballer. You were on the same pitching staff with him.
Right.
Did he show you anything? Did you learn the knuckleball ever?
I never learned the knuckleball.
That's probably a good thing.
I had enough on my plate. But what Phil did tell me was to use different arm angles, not to just come at the same angle all the time. And, you know, he did talk to me about, you know, things I could do to improve. And that meant a lot because back when I was a rookie, things were different. Rookies were looked upon as someone coming in and taking your place. And a lot of guys resented rookies. They don't do that so much now, but back then they did. But Ron Reed and Phil, they both, you know, were happy that I was there and helped me out.
But I'll tell you, the biggest thing I got out of talking to Adrian Devine was learning how good of a man he was. He loved his family, and he even spoke most enthusiastically about his son running Devine Baseball.
You know, your son Travis has Devine Baseball in view for Georgia. What does it mean to you to see your son, fourth pick By the Padres?
by the Padres.
What does it mean to see him, take off and teach kids about baseball?
It means a lot to me. My grandfather played baseball. My father played baseball. They didn't make it to the majors, but my father was a great instructor, and obviously he helped me. And I was a second-round draft pick by the Braves, and my son was a fourth-round pick. But he didn't make it to the majors, but he has become an excellent instructor, and better than I could be. And he takes it seriously, and his business is really thriving. He's had a couple of kids go pro. He's had quite a few get into college, and they do a fine job. I'm proud of them. It makes me feel good to walk in there and see the last name Devine baseball.
Yeah,
there.
for
It means
sure.
a lot.
Adrian gave a lot of his time to charity. In fact, when I met him, he was in Helen, Georgia, participating in the Darrell Cheney United Way Golf Tournament, giving his time to a wonderful charity.
We're at the Darrell Cheney United Way Golf Tournament right now, and you're here, you're giving up your time to be here to support the United Way. And what does it mean to you to be able to support such a great charity?
Well, I mean, there are so many good charities. If you look at the baseball players, Andrew Jones has things, Marty Perez has things, Phil Negro. It goes on and on. There are a lot of ball players doing good things. So, to be a part of any charity to me is just a way to give back. And
I'll tell you this, on a personal note, Adrian, while going through that last difficult year or so, I could always count on, and I always appreciated that he followed me and everything that I'm doing here via Facebook. Anytime I shared anything, I could always count on some encouragement from him, and I always appreciated it. He was keeping up with everything I did, mainly because he loved baseball. He loved the history of the game as well as the current product.
the Braves have a long history. Study your baseball history. Go back to Milwaukee, go back to Boston, and look at the history of these teams. It's amazing. I love studying history. I read stuff about baseball in the 1800s, the Connie Mack and all that by Hoss Radburn, guys that most people don't know about.
Yeah.
I was talking to Ron Reed yesterday about how Louisville Slugger bats came about, and it was because of a furniture company. A guy broke his bat, needed a bat, he went to a furniture company, and the owner said, no, I don't make bats, I make furniture. But the son was a baseball fan, and the guy that needed the bat was Pete Brown from Louisville, and they called him the Louisville Slugger. He was having a great year hitting. And so the son made him a bat. And he went out and got 3 hits that night, came back, ordered more bats, and now his teammates are coming, and it becomes an industry known as the Louisville Slugger bat. So stuff like that I love reading it.
After his last diagnosis, a community in Gwinnett County surprised Adrian with a garden of love to show their support for him, and he wrote a letter thanking them. He was such a positive person, even wearing a Braves hat, proving he was a Brave through and through. So to wrap this up, please send your thoughts and prayers to the Devine family. I know they would really appreciate it. And that's going to finish it up here for this tribute for Adrian Devine. Please go check out the original interview. It's a lot longer than this was, and I think you'd really like it if you're a baseball fan. So as always, I appreciate you tuning in to On Deck.